barely enough space to stand here, but you have a tiny sink with no counter, a single induction heater. This little fridge here, if you're lucky, might just be big enough to fit a single iPhone.
Japan is a country where space is one of the most valuable resources. It has over 125 million people living on an island where nearly 75% of the island is mountainous, so living space is extremely limited. Cities like Tokyo are some of the most densely populated urban areas on the planet, forcing architects, homeowners, and designers to completely rethink what a home should look like. So instead of building bigger, Japan is building smarter. Tiny homes in Japan aren't just a lifestyle trend. They're a particular solution born from necessity. High land prices, limited space, and a culture that values simplicity have led to some of the most creative housing designs in the world. From ultra-narrow homes squeezed between buildings to multifunctional interiors where one room can become 5, Japanese tiny homes prove that comfort doesn't depend on square footage. Japan in itself is one big amusement park. They've got mountains, temples, arcades. You'll never run out of new things to explore there, and Japan's tiny home industry is one of its hidden gems. Let's check out some of these tiny homes.
Here is the width of the building's edge contrasted against me. The lack of vertical clearance and proper width to be able to get through here. The stairs themselves are actually incredibly narrow and shallow. And I have questions about the shower area here. Mostly on account of this door height, but let's take a peek. So the door doesn't open. I close the door. Okay. Close the door. And I basically take up the entire space. That's actually not a bad shower space. It's pretty much got everything that you need. It's got a shower right here, and it's got a bath that I'm really wondering if I would even fit in. Okay, so curiosity's getting the better of me, and I have to know if I would fit in the bath, and that is actually not a bad bath. I could do that. Do you think you could?
I know I couldn't do that. If I got in that tub, my knees would be in my mouth.
Come on in. Hey, it's more spacious than it appears from the outside. First, we have a water closet and a 4.1 square meter kitchen. Let's see, the kitchen sink can also be used as a bathroom sink. You can switch this place depending on the situation. This little space belongs to a fridge. The creativity to make the best of the small capacity is impressive. Let's head up to the second floor. The stairs of this property take up about half the width. Bringing in household appliances might be a challenge. Oh, never mind. Everything, including this washing machine.
You know that house is small if you got to build the appliances into the house because you can't get them in through the front door once you put it on.
Look, this girl lives in the smallest house in Japan, but she turned that tiny space into a cozy home with everything she needs. First, she laid down 2 soft mats and added a small bed to sleep on. Then, she even added a small fridge for her kitchen. Finally, she sat on her bed, only to find she had just 2 likes.
Come on in. First, we have the kitchen and a space for your washing machine. They're lined up next to each other, a layout not commonly found. You'll need to get creative with cooking space. The kitchen has none. There's a shoe cabinet over here and a washlet-equipped toilet.
There's no space for a refrigerator. Why even put a stove in the house if you can't store food to cook?
It's not as cramped as I thought it would be. This is where the super thin part you saw earlier is. That's pretty small. Look, there's a loft over here. The ceiling isn't too low. It can be used as a bedroom. That's all for today.
These are the features of a tiny Tokyo apartment in a slightly expensive area. Heated toilet with no washlet, 360-degree floor-to-ceiling windows. They open up so you can see outside. A little bar for safety over here. The windows even have blinds that you can close like that all the way around. There's a washing machine right here.
Now, this has got to be one of the smallest tiny homes I've seen in Japan, but all that natural light makes it dope to me.
Conditioners in the worst possible place, as well as your plugs are under the ground like this, and there are not that many for the whole apartment. And then this brings you all the way back around to your tub and your toilet. Full video up on
These are train
Land.
tracks, and these are tiny apartments under the train tracks. We're going to take a look at this.
God bless the person that can sleep with the train running over their head every 15 minutes.
Today and Since it's the internet, you can show people you're taking your shoes off. There's a fridge and microwave there, as well as this little guy here. There's a whole loft up there that we'll take a peek at in a second. This is the kitchen, and then the bath and toilet areas right here. It's actually not a bad toilet considering how small some of the ones we've seen are. And the bath itself is also fairly spacious. The loft is surprisingly large. This is the loft here. Not bad at all. Also, love the amount of storage space and the whole desk.
Yeah, so I actually went online to try to figure out exactly how much an apartment under a railroad track would cost. And fortunately, I wasn't able to track it down. But I'm sure they've jacked the prices through the roof using the excuse that it's so close to public transportation.
All right, so this is it here. This is apparently supposed to be a garden space. I kind of guess that would work as a garden space, but the real shocker is the room itself. There's the bed. That's it. It's just that right there.
I mean, I got to be honest with you. If the price is right on this one, I'm down. It's a little dark for me, but it has all the necessities. I don't need much.
What is this? I have never seen an apartment like this before. How does this okay, so you've got your toilet there, and you've got, I guess, what you would call a half bath.
I know they are not trying to pass that sink off as a bath.
And how would you, can you even, no, there's no space. There's no way you'd be able and this is the quote unquote sleeping space.
One of the new trends that's taking over the hotel industry in Japan are capsule pods. They're a much cheaper option, and unlike buying a hotel for the night, you kind of get the option to pay hourly in a lot of them. So let's check these out.
This is the newest capsule hotel in Japan. It's ninja and geisha themed, and you get to sleep inside one of these vibrant capsules of your choosing. But that's not the coolest part. Wait until you see the common space.
Wow, this place is insane.
This reminds me of Yasaka Shrine in Kyoto. You'll also find vending machines, a kitchenette, meeting rooms, stunning artworks, and a wall full of wooden plaques where you can leave your own message. Come and find us if you ever visit the ninja and geisha capsule hotel. Who would you stay here with?
Yeah, I like that. Actually, I love those theme hotels in Japan. When I stayed there, I stayed at a couple, man, and I had a blast. I was curious about the ninja and a geisha capsule hotel. I went online and checked it out because I wanted to know how much it cost, and it was only $14 a night, to my surprise. So I would definitely suggest anybody that travels to Japan check that out, because I will the next time I go. And it is in Osaka, which is about 6.5 hour drive away from Tokyo, which is where most people fly in. But if you get on the bullet train, it's only about 2.5 hours. And the good thing about that is the bullet train is it's relatively cheap for, transportation prices coming from the West. So I definitely suggest making your way to Osaka to check that out.
This is my honest, detailed review of a capsule hotel in Japan as someone who is not built for the capsule or hostel life.
This is not who I am. This is not what I do.
We already know I'm a multi-suitcase princess, okay? But I had one night until my friend got here and I thought I had to try it. I stayed at 9 hours.
Yeah, so word of advice to anyone who's out traveling: don't ever bring that many suitcases. For one, you're putting the target on your back to get robbed, and most likely if you're lucky, you'll just get one of your suitcases stolen. Don't ever travel with that much.
Juku, which is women only, because you cannot actually lock these capsules, something no one ever mentions, and I don't trust men. You're assigned a locker on a different floor, and it actually fit all my stuff. They also give you amenities including toothbrush, towels, and pajamas. On the same floor, you'll find shower rooms and sinks to get ready. Toilets can be found on each floor. The whole place was surprisingly aesthetic, and I loved the top floor lounge/workspace. You're allowed food and drinks in here, but nowhere else in the building. The capsule floor was giving serious Black Mirror vibes. You are not allowed to make any noise here or bring your suitcase up. It was way bigger than I thought it would be though. There's a plug, your own light you can control, and a blind that pulls down for privacy. To my absolute shock, I had my best night's sleep of the year here. I went in there to mess about and film some content.
Okay, so First off, there are a lot of capsule hotels that have locker rooms that do lock. And I don't think men are the problem. I think you traveling with too many suitcases are the problem. And I don't know why you specifically pointed out men, because women steal too, obviously.
$200 to stay in a hotel full of cats. Is this your dream or worst nightmare? Welcome to the Cat Capsule Hotel.
Yeah, so I'm telling you off top, that's my worst nightmare.
We've ever visited, where you get to hang with feline friends
All those cats, I guarantee you that hotel smells like a litter box.
Making me hungry, I'm not gonna lie. Fight, drink, or have a stare off. He's looking at me. Bye. You also get to enter the cat spa for pats and cuddles, but if you got allergies like me, just stay in your capsule. You get this whole space to yourself that's entirely cat themed, with waving cats in the toilet, rumpy cat decor, and even cat tissues and wallpaper. Nothing like waking up in a capsule hotel, eating an egg sundae, and watching some cats. The room comes with 5 beds, so you can split up the cost with friends. Who's the cat lover you want to do this with?
Okay, so one thing you never want to do when you travel abroad is eat in your bed. Let me tell you a quick story about a time I stayed in Thailand. Now, my living conditions were a little different than staying in a capsule hotel, but I stayed in a common area, a bungalow. It had 4 bedrooms in it. It was essentially in the middle of the jungle. You had about a foot space between the wall and the ceiling, so you could look out all throughout the building outside. About 2 o'clock in the morning, I was the only one up. The 2 other roommates I had were asleep, and then we had 1 bed that was vacant. 2 o'clock in the morning, someone from Sweden comes in, lays down in the bed, start eating. And I told him, you don't want to be eating in your bed, because we had all kind of insects coming in and out of our bungalow. Sure enough, he eats, he goes to sleep about 2 o'clock in the morning, and an hour and a half later, I hear screaming. I wake up, I look over at him, and he's covered in thousands of ants. Lesson learned.
I stayed at a $40 and $120 a night capsule hotel in Tokyo and found out why one is triple the price. After checking into the $40 one, you enter into your respective elevator that splits men and women floors. You get a bag with pajamas, toiletries, and a list of rules. No food, talking, or phone noise is allowed in your pod. Capsule itself has plugs, dimmable light, and a thin curtain door. The bathroom has a nice shower, fancy toilet, and personal lockers to store all your stuff safely. The small space did get quite stuffy when sleeping, although the biggest bummer was one of the only other few guests was assigned above me and had an alarm ring for 45 minutes at 6 a.m. But besides that, it was amazing value and a great stay. The $120 hotel felt like walking into a luxury self-storage facility. They give you an iPod to control things like lights and the bed angle. The pod is way bigger with a storage unit under the bed, but the coolest part that probably makes the price worth it is that when your alarm goes off, instead of waking everyone up, the bed slowly folds in half until you wake up, so you don't have to deal with continuous alarms all morning. Also, the toilet seat pops up automatically, which was pretty sweet.
Yeah, so the first capsule hotel I saw was well worth $40. And there was nothing I saw in the second capsule hotel that warranted the $120 price tag on it. All the gadgets you can keep. Vast majority of people traveling and that are looking for capsule hotels are just looking for a cheap place to lay their head in the middle of the night. You don't need all the folding beds and electronics. You can keep that. And one thing I did like about this place, if you notice, they had actual lockers that locked. Yeah, so I loved my trip, my personal trip to Japan. If you ever travel there, you can easily find a place to stay for the week that'll have you living in luxury for under $200. The only issue that I've ever had there was the language barrier. If you don't speak Japanese, which the vast majority of the world outside of Japan doesn't, then there is a language barrier issue. But today we have a lot of translation devices to make that a lot easier. When I went back it's probably been 12 to 13 years since I last went. I didn't have a cell phone. I had no cell phone signal. I didn't have a device that could translate for me, so it was a lot harder for me to get around. And I was surprised by how little English was spoken there, even in the commercial spaces, which is rare. But I definitely loved my trip to Japan. I am going again. I will be filming and making content. If you liked the video you saw today, you will love the video that I'll be making in the future on my second trip to Japan. Please like and subscribe.